He was the president of his local church council. He was a Cub Scout leader who taught children how to tie knots. He was the man who installed security alarms to keep families safe. But for 30 years, Dennis Rader used those same knots to bind his victims and used his knowledge of alarms to bypass them. He didn't just kill, he taunted the police, the media, and the families. He hid in plain sight, wearing a mask of sanity so perfect that even his wife and children had no idea they were living with a monster. Today, we peel back that mask. Welcome back to Behind the Mask, True Crime Stories. Today, we are entering the twisted mind of the BTK Killer. Before we descend into this darkness, I have a request. If you appreciate the research we put into these investigations, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and allows us to keep telling these stories. Also, comment below. What case keeps you up at night? Which serial killer do you want us to profile next? We read every comment to decide our future episodes. Now, let's travel to Wichita, Kansas, where a nightmare began on a quiet winter morning. January 15, 1974, it was a cold day in Wichita. The Otero family, Joseph, Julie, and their two youngest children were at home. Dennis Rader cut the phone lines and entered through the back door. He didn't rush. He held the family at gunpoint, assuring them he only wanted money and a car. But that was the first lie. Systematically, he bound them. He strangled the parents first, then the children. It wasn't a robbery, it was an execution. When the bodies were found by the older siblings coming home from school, the city of Wichita lost its innocence forever. The brutality was shocking, but the killer left no clues, only a semen sample that, in 1974, was useless without DNA technology. Most killers want to hide. Rader wanted to be a star. Frustrated that the newspapers weren't giving him enough credit, he made a phone call to the library and left a letter in a mechanical engineering book. In that letter, he detailed the crime with information only the killer could know. But the most chilling part was his sign-off. He suggested a few nicknames for himself, including the Garrote Phantom. But he settled on 3 words that described his method: bind, torture, kill. The initials BTK were born. He wasn't just killing people, he was building a brand. Just a few months later, BTK struck again. His target was Catherine Bright. He had stalked her, waiting for her to come home. He referred to his victims as projects, and stalking them was trolling. But this time, things went wrong. Catherine fought back. Her brother, Kevin, was also there and was shot in the face, but miraculously survived and escaped to get help. Rader panicked. He stabbed Catherine and fled. It was a sloppy crime scene, but despite having a witness description, police couldn't connect the chaotic attack to the meticulous Otero murders. BTK had slipped away again. This is where the story becomes terrifyingly mundane. During the day, Dennis Rader was a compliance officer. Ironically, he worked for ADT Security Services. He spent his days visiting homes, recommending alarms to people who were terrified of him. He was a father of 2. He was elected president of his church council. Neighbors described him as a bit officious, a stickler for rules, the kind of guy who would measure your grass to see if it was too tall. He compartmentalized his life perfectly. To the world, he was a boring bureaucrat. In his mind, he was a dark god. Between 1977 and 1979, the monster resurfaced. He murdered Shirley Vian, locking her children in the bathroom while he strangled her. Then, he killed Nancy Fox. After killing Nancy, he did something unthinkable. He called the police from a phone booth to report the murder himself. He wanted them to find the body. He wanted the credit. His narcissism was growing. He sent poems to the local newspaper, mocking the police chief. The city was paralyzed with fear. Women slept with hammers under their pillows. But then silence. After 1991, BTK seemed to vanish. The letters stopped. The murders stopped. Theories ran wild. Was he dead? Was he in prison for another crime? Did he move away? The truth was simpler and stranger. Rader claimed later that he was simply busy. He was raising his kids, working his job, and getting older. He satisfied his dark urges through autoerotic asphyxiation and taking photos of himself in bondage, wearing the clothes of his victims. He didn't need to kill to feel powerful anymore. The memories were enough. For over a decade, Wichita thought the nightmare was over. In 2004, on the 30th anniversary of the Otero murders, a local newspaper ran a story implying that BTK was forgotten, washed up, or dead. This bruised Dennis Rader's massive ego. He couldn't handle being irrelevant. He broke his silence. He sent a package containing photos of a 1986 murder victim that had never been linked to BTK. He was back. He began leaving packages all over the city, cereal boxes with dolls inside, puzzles, and letters. He was taunting the police again, believing he was smarter than everyone else. But technology had changed since 1974. Rader was desperate to communicate, but he was paranoid. He asked the police in a letter, "Can a floppy disk be traced?" The police, knowing they had to trick him, took out a newspaper ad saying, "Rex, it will be okay." They lied. They said a floppy disk was safe. Rader believed them. He sent a purple 1.44 megabyte floppy disk to a local TV station. Police immediately scanned the digital metadata. They found a deleted Microsoft Word document. The file had been last saved by a user named Dennis, and it was created at a location listed as Christ Lutheran Church. It took only a quick Google search. Dennis plus Christ Lutheran Church led them straight to Dennis Rader. They obtained a DNA sample from his daughter's medical records to confirm the match with the semen from the 1974 crime scene. It was a match. On February 25, 2005, police surrounded Rader near his home. He surrendered without a fight. When the police asked him if he knew why he was being arrested, he played dumb. Later, in the interrogation room, when the detective told him they traced the floppy disk, Rader actually looked hurt. He asked, "I thought you said it was safe. Why did you lie to me?" He was genuinely offended that the police hadn't played fair. The most chilling part of the BTK saga wasn't the arrest, it was the courtroom confession. Rader didn't cry, he didn't show remorse. He stood before the judge and described the murders as if he were reading a grocery list. He described putting down his victims with the same emotional detachment that a man talking about fixing a leaky faucet. He corrected the judge on minor details. He seemed to enjoy the spotlight one last time. He pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms. The mask was off, and underneath, there was nothing but a void. Dennis Rader sits in solitary confinement today at the El Dorado Correctional Facility. He is a reminder that monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes, they look like your neighbor, your scout leader, or the man sitting in the pew next to you at church. Now, I want to hear from you. Did you know about the floppy disk mistake? Do you think he would have started killing again if he hadn't been caught? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow true crime fans. This has been Behind the Mask. Stay safe, and always check your locks.